Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa, and welcome back to Book Bar, and welcome to my February anticipated releases. I am going to be going over books that I'm excited about that are releasing in February. Most of these are indie published. There are a couple that are not, that are traditionally published, and most of them are romances, but there is one fantasy on here, and a couple of fantasy romances, but for the most part, they are romances. But that's what those are the ones I'm excited for generally because I need other people to vet other genres for me because I'm just not well versed enough in those genres. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead. If I'm looking down, it's because I have my iPad here with all of my notes. And I'm going to go in chronological order of when they release. So the first book that I'm excited for is Before Us by Jewel E. Ann. This sounds phenomenal. It says, I never saw him coming. I didn't know what would happen after my client found me sleeping in my car. I'd been cleaning his house as his wife was dying. Yes. I didn't expect him to invite me to live with them. I didn't expect Susie to become my lifeline until she was gone. I didn't expect him to ask me to marry him when he found out I needed medical insurance. I didn't expect to fall in love with a grieving man. There are so many reasons to keep my distance from Zach. Every tender moment secreted away. When we're not together, I miss the man I call my husband. Does he miss his wife? If so, which one? That sounds like an angst-filled, tension-filled, just fantastic romance. I've read one Julie Ann book before, and I really did enjoy it. And I know Shan from That Tall Book Girl really loves Julie Ann. So I'm excited. This sounds wonderful. This comes out on February 2nd. Then on February 3rd, we have When a Moth Loved a Bee by Pepper Winters. I know that Jen from the Book Review just currently reading this arc. And she said, from what I've seen, like it sounds pretty wild. I also know that this is Jess from Peaceful Books. It's one of her Patreon buddy reads later in the year. So I'm excited for it. This comes out on February 3rd. And it says, it's taking everything I have not to touch you. Not because I want to make you mine, but because every part of me screams that you already are. A pack of wolves hunt a girl who takes her last breath by a river's edge. She is found and nursed back to health by the kind-hearted Nile people. She has no memory, no past, and is given a choice that could change her forgotten life forever. A pack of wolves adopt a man who begs for death in the grasslands. Blood revives him. Flesh strengthens him. All while the Alpha watches him as if he knows who he is. He has no memory, no past, and yet he's drawn toward the smoke of a faraway clan. And in that smoke, he finds a girl with the same mark on her thigh, the same empty mind, and the same forgotten language on her lips. He's convinced they know each other. She's certain they are strangers. But the more time they spend together, the more tangled the truth becomes. Their forgetfulness was deliberate, to keep them apart, to keep them lost, to keep them from claiming their true power, because in that power exists a terrible choice, a choice that could destroy the world, or each other. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, it says it's an epic fantasy romance, so I'm excited. That sounds great. Then on February 7th, there are two books that I'm excited for. The first one is Twisted by Emily McIntyre. This is the fourth book in her Never After series. All of these can be read as complete standalones. There's not even an inkling of them connecting to each other, just their titles and that they're all the villain gets the girl. I enjoyed the first one. I really enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the second one. And I despised the third one. So we'll see. These covers are gorgeous. This cover is also gorgeous. We'll see how I feel about this. They have been picked up by a publisher. I don't know how that's going to change things. But this one is, I know it's Jafar and Jasmine. Or I think they have different names, but similar enough. She's his diamond in the rough. He's her worst nightmare. Yasmin Karim, daughter to one of the richest men in the world, has never known strife. So when her beloved's father falls ill, she's determined to make his final days the happiest. So when her beloved father, not her beloved's, when her beloved father falls ill, she's determined to make his final days his happiest. His last wish, to see her married to the man of his choosing. Except Yasmin's heart already belongs to someone else, a servant, a street rat, a man her father would never consider worthy. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Yasmin strikes a desperate deal with her father's right-hand man, Julian, not realizing he has his own twisted agenda. Julian Varsity has one goal: become the most powerful man in the world. He's built a future from broken bones and faded bruises, never caring who he hurt along the way. But when his mentor falls ill, he finds himself on the verge of losing everything, and he'll stop at nothing to inherit what is rightfully his, even if it means forcing a woman he can't stand into marriage. Yasmin is a brat who speaks out of turn. He's the villain of her story, but he decides she'll be his no matter what it takes to convince her. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll see. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the third one. It felt very like TikTok-y, like just, I don't know how to describe it. Like the scenes were just too over the top for me. And so yeah, I did not enjoy that one. So we'll see. Hopefully this one redeems the series, and if I continue in this series after this or not. Next, also on the 7th, we have Fair Game by Amelia Wilde. The synopsis just sounds wonderful. Elise Betancourt was an heiress and a murderer. I don't even need to read more. I will, but tell me less. She tried to change all that. She built a new life as a quiet, unassuming baker. She'll never get rich selling croissants, and that's a good thing. Money corrupts. It kills. Then there was Gabriel Hill, a man too charming for his own good. Too rich, too. He wants her, but it's a dangerous game. Vengeance. Gabriel made his choice, but it might be too late to save him. Then, on the 10th, we have my most anticipated release of the year. The book I am so hyped for. I'm sure everyone, you've seen it on every person's list for this year. You'll probably see it on everyone if they are doing monthly. But Powerless by Elsie Silver. Chestnut Springs book number 3. I don't even need to read the synopsis for it. I'm not going to. All I know is this is Jasper and I don't remember her name. But we meet them both in the second book. Or we meet Jasper in the first book. And we see the girl in the second book. I think her name's Sophie. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But yeah, we see her in the second book and we kind of got a hint to there being something there. She's a runaway bride. He plays hockey. It's just, I don't want to read the synopsis because I want to go in completely blind. And I know on the 10th, I will be dropping everything to read this. So, yes. Then we have one of my fantasy releases, kind of. I think there's obviously going to be a small romance when you hear the title, but it's The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by AlRasheed Chokshi. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This comes out on the 14th. And this is a sumptuous, gothic-infused story about a marriage that is unraveled by dark secrets, a friendship cursed to the end of tragedy, and the danger in believing in fairy tales. The breathtaking adult debut from New York Times bestseller AlRasheed Chokshi. Once upon a time, a man believed in fairy tales, married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo Maxwell Castaneda. He was a scholar of myths. She was an heiress to a fortune. They exchanged gifts and stories and believed they would live happily ever after. And in exchange for her love, Indigo extricated a promise that her bridegroom would never pry into her past. But when Indigo learns that her estranged aunt is dying and the couple is forced to return to her childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom will soon find himself unable to resist. For within the crumbling manor's extravagant rooms and musty halls, there lurks a shadow of another girl, Azure, Indigo's dearest childhood friend who suddenly disappeared. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens to destroy their marriage or their lives. Combining the lush, haunting atmosphere of Mexican Gothic with the dreamy enchantment of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride is a spellbinding and darkly romantic page-turner about love, lies, secrets, and betrayal, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive. That sounds fantastic. Probably not, obviously doubt it's a romance, but very much could be a love story. Tragic, could have a tragic ending. I'm okay with that. Obviously, I know it's more fantasy-based going in, so I'm not going to expect there to be this sweeping romance. But it sounds fantastic, and I can't wait. Then we have one of the few traditionally published romances that I'm excited for. I know nothing about it. It just sounds really good. It's called Ruby Spencer's Whiskey Year. This also comes out on the 14th. This is by Rochelle Billow. When 30-something American food writer moves to a Scottish village for 1 year to fulfill her dream of writing a cookbook, she finds more than inspiration. She meets a handsome Scotsman she can't resist. Ruby Spencer is spending 1 year living in a small cottage in a tiny town in the Scottish Highlands for 3 reasons. 3 reasons: to write a best-selling cookbook, to drink a barrel full of whiskey, and to figure out what comes next. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I always love when things have to do with food and alcohol and yes, and then romance on top of that. So also excited for that. Then on the 15th, we have Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. This is the 4th book in the Red Zone Rival series. I'm not caught up. I still need to read book 3. But book 1 was 3 stars. Book 2 was 5 stars. I think from what I've seen, book 4 will probably go down to like 4 stars. We'll see. But book 5, we've seen the hero in all the other books. He's kind of a dick. So I'm excited. Leo Hernandez, the North Boston University star running back, notorious bachelor, and #1 on my people I would murder if I could get away with it list. And now he's my new roommate. I used to think I loved him, but that was before I hated him. He doesn't remember who I am or how he made my life miserable for years. And before I unknowingly moved across the street from him, I couldn't have cared less. I was living my life to spite him and what happened that summer, chasing my dream of becoming a tattoo artist. The Pit, as the university so gratefully nicknamed the house he lives in with 3 other football players, has served as nothing more than a pain in my ass and a constant reminder of the boy who broke my heart. Watching him parade his one-night stands in and out never helped either. But with rent this cheap and so close to a tattoo shop, I've learned to ignore him, no matter how he's tried to get under my skin, at least until this summer. Because when a water and mold disaster leaves me with no choice but to vacate my house, I have nowhere to go. And Leo Hernandez offers me a deal I can't refuse. Live at the Pit with him and the guys, free of charge, until my landlord fixes this mess. Ignoring him was easier when I lived across the street. But in the same house, with him shirtless half the time and watching me with his cocky grin and searing gaze, it's impossible. Still, I have to try. I have to push him away, even if he makes it infuriatingly difficult to do so. He broke my heart once. I won't let him do it again. Yes, sign me up. That sounds fantastic. To me, that sounds even better than the 3rd book, but I do know that you kind of see the couple in the 3rd book, so I do want to read it before going into it. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. Then we have another one of my most anticipated releases, and that is The Baby Blitz, Varsity Jazz #3 by Lex Martin. This is the 3rd book in like her like their Varsity Dads, but they all have to do with like babies. The 1st book was The Varsity Dad Dilemma. The second book was Titans and Tiaras. And again, this is one that I don't really need to read the synopsis for to know that I'm going to be getting it. This is one of the guys on the football team who lived in the house, and I'm pretty sure that it is the girl who lived with the heroine from book 2, or was her friend, or what? It was her friend. I think she lived with her. I think it's their relationship because we did kind of see them in the 2nd book. And so I'm excited for that one. And that comes out on the 21st. The 21st has a lot of releases, let me just say. Then also on the 21st, we have Heartsick by Monica James. I just love this cover. Yes, please. This is a duet, so it'll probably end on a cliffhanger, so I probably will wait to read it, but I'm still excited for it. Piano has always been my one true love, so when the music stops, I do whatever I can to hear it again, but when I wake, all I hear is his heart and the memories that come with it. This is my body, my mind, but not my heart. Each beat hides a secret, and his voice now replaces the music, demanding I uncover the truth. I'm sent to a place to get better, and that's where I meet her. Every artist needs his muse, and Luna allows me to hear the music again. But when her secrets soon become mine, I realize it's because I've lived this life before, or rather he has. The man whose heart beats within my chest knows Luna and everything she's done. I mean, that just sounds phenomenal. Cannot wait. Then we have Save the Best for Last by Jennifer Probst. This is Twist of Fate, book 3. I really enjoyed the 1st book. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I could not stand the 2nd book. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was not good at all. So boring. Just very bland, boring, not exciting. Nothing exciting happened. There were I felt no chemistry between the couple. So we'll see if this book redeems the series for me, or if it just makes sense, like if it makes it like, okay, maybe Jennifer Probst is the author for me. So we will see. They were the best of enemies, both in need of a change, thrown together by a challenging twist of fate. Tessa Harper, makeover queen of a self-care media empire, loves a challenge. But when she's forced to satisfy her female readership's growing interest in sports, Tessa reluctantly seeks out Ford Maddox. The popular sportscaster, annoying friend to her bestie, and longtime sparring partner, agrees to strike a deal. He'll give Tessa his expertise if she'll give him hers, namely a makeover to help him get past the friend zone with the woman of his dreams. Ford has considered Tessa to be nothing more than a pampered elitist, but if she can turn his rough style and attitude into boyfriend material, it's worth the aggravation. The plan is working. The problem is, Ford's also starting to see Tessa in a new light, and there's more to the complicated woman than meets the eye. Ford is falling hard, but is he ready to give up his ideal love to take a chance on an opinionated, independent spitfire who's turning his life and his heart upside down? This sounds really good. We did kind of see their like banter in the second book, was like part of the only redeeming part of the second book. Ford is the hero from the first book's best friend, and obviously she's the heroine from the first and the second book's best friend, and co-owns their company. So I'm excited for this one. Hopefully it is back to where the first one was. These books are all usually on KU Read and Listen, so works. I get the audiobook for free when I download the ebook, so yes. Then we have Things We Hide from the Light, Knock 'Em Out book number 2 by Lucy Score. This is Nash's book. Nash is Knox's brother. Knox from the first book. It's his brother's book. Nash Morgan was always known as the good Morgan brother, with a smile and a wink for everyone. But now, the chief of police is recovering from being shot, and his southern charm has been overshadowed by panic attacks and nightmares. He feels like a broody shell of a man he once was. Nash isn't about to let anyone in his life know he's struggling, but his new next-door neighbor, sweet as sin Lena, sees the shadows. As a rule, she's not a fan of physical contact unless she initiates it, but for some reason, Nash's touch is different. He feels it too. The physical connection between them is incendiary, grounding him and making her wonder if exploring it is worth the risk. Too bad Lena's got secrets of her own, and if Nash finds out the real reason she's in town, he'll never forgive her. Besides, she doesn't do relationships. Ever. A hot short-term fling with a local cop? Absolutely. Sign her up. A relationship with a man who expects her to plant roots? No freaking way. Once she gets what she's after, she has no intention of sticking around, but Knock 'Em Out has a way of getting under people's skin. And once Nash decides to make Lena his, he's not going to be dissuaded, even if it means facing the danger that nearly killed him. I believe Lena is in the first book. I think she's one of Knox's former hookups who becomes really good friends with, why can't I think of the heroine's name? But yeah. So yes, I'm excited for that. Then we have City of Souls and Sinners by Kayla Edwards. This is the second book in her House of Devil series. I can't say anything about it because it is the second book. The first book did not end on a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to see where she kind of goes with this story, because it felt like everything was kind of wrapped up. I mean, I'm sure there are things that I missed, but I'm excited. It is probably going to be a long book because the first one was really long. So yeah, I can't say much again, because it is the second book in a series, and it's an actual, like, second book, not a interconnected standalone. This does follow the same characters, Darren and Lauren. So, yeah, can't really say much else. Then we have Forever Your Rogue by Erin Langston. This comes out on the 28th. This sounds like a fun historical romance. I'm trying to get back into historicals. I had The Duke Gets Even on last month, and then now I have this one. He was her last chance. She was his first certainty. Cora, Viscountess Dane, gave up her dreams of happily ever after a long time ago. Now newly widowed, the young mother is determined to finally live on her own terms until a devastating betrayal shatters her hopes for the future. Faced with the prospect of losing her beloved children to overbearing relatives, Cora needs the help of the one thing she swore she'd never have again, a husband. Nathaniel Travers hasn't a care or responsibility in the world. Content with his wayward lifestyle, The charismatic rogue has no interest in marriage or duty. That is, until the Earl cuts off his bank accounts. No stranger to wild escapades, Nate is game for any scheme that keeps him afloat, even if a madcap ruse with the stubborn Viscountess. A fake engagement should be a straightforward solution to both their dilemmas. But a summer at Cora's estate tests their arrangement, and it isn't long before their simmering attraction escalates to a feverish crescendo. When they are forced to confront the real complications of their faux betrothal, Nate has to make the first worthy gamble of his life, if only Cora can risk her guarded heart. Yes, that sounds wonderful. Super excited. And then the last book I'm really excited for, I have already pre-ordered it from Amazon because it's going to be the unofficial book club of the Late Night Crew, Mel, Cassidy, and Rye. It's gonna be their March pick for that. And so this is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafai by S.A. Chakraborty. I absolutely loved the David Bad trilogy when I read it last year. And I think S.A. Chakraborty's writing is just very much writing that, like, it's very, why can't I think of the word? Easy to understand for a non-fantasy reader, but also fantasy readers do have, I haven't heard anyone not like the David Bad trilogy. So, yes. So I will pick up anything that she writes. And this is about a, pirate. So let's read this. It is a new trilogy. And I don't think that it's, I'm pretty sure it's not related to David Bad. Obviously it could take place, it's still in the Middle East, so it could be in a world similar to it. But yes, Amina al-Sirafai should be content. After a storied and scandalous career as one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates, she survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's tracked down by the obscenely wealthy mother of a former crewman, she's offered a job no bandit could refuse: retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a kingly sum. The chance to have at least one last adventure with her crew, do right by an old friend, and win a fortune that will secure her family's future forever. It seems like an obvious choice. It seems like such an obvious choice that it must be God's will. Yet the deeper Amina dives in, the more it becomes alarmingly clear that there's more to this job than a girl's disappearance, than she was led to believe. For there's always a risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savor just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. Yes, I cannot wait for that. It sounds so good. But yeah, those are the books that I am excited for that are releasing in February. This was a lot longer than January's list. This is also coming out before February starts. So hopefully you are excited for some of these. Let me know down in the comments if you're excited for what releases you're excited for in February. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave me the shocked emoji. Because, shocked for new releases. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps me out. And I'll talk to you on the next one.